Hey, y'all, like I'm from the South. Y'all, hey, y'all.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, I think maybe you're just like rubbing off on me a little bit too much, and we need to put some distance between us because I'm starting to speak like you.
Nancy,
You ever notice that?
you said a curse word earlier this week, and she said, I think you.
I did.
Oh, no.
I think I've said a couple curse words. I think I said the shit word. I don't normally swear, but I did let it out once or twice this week. But hey, such is life. So, y'all, welcome to the Akashic Show, y'all. Welcome to the Akashic Show. Thank you so much for pressing play. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be chatting about scarcity. And oh my goodness, is this something that I've dealt with a lot in my own life? But I've got to be honest with you, I've come across on the other side. I just had another fantastic month from in business and life. And what I realized is that scarcity isn't just a money conversation. It's, are you scarce in energy? I got a lot of energy going on right now. So, So I realized I was scarce in energy. And because I was scarce in energy, yes, I was scarce in money and scarce in creativity and scarce in playfulness and abilities to connect. And all of a sudden I realized that scarcity isn't a money conversation. While we're going to relate it to money in different aspects of our life today, I want you to recognize that scarcity is an energetic conversation. And that's why I'm super excited to have this conversation and dive into it. We're going to be talking about how you can break the patterns of scarcity so you can live an awesome, playful, and dynamic life. Now, before we do, I do once again want to say thank you so much. I see a bunch of people are tuning in and hitting that like and love button. We got Monique and Christy and Nancy and Sifu's in the house. So thank you guys so much. Keep it coming in. We'll read your comments. I'll flip them up on the screen as you leave them below. Definitely share this out with your friends and family. If you know how to start a watch party, help us out. Start a watch party and invite a bunch of people to watch this, because so many people in the world right now are actually feeling scarce in many, many ways. And we're going to be addressing that issue directly, head on. No hold bar. We're totally going to be diving into the deep end about it. So share this video out, start a watch party if you know how to do it, and let's drive as many souls as we can, because the more enlightened beings, the more spiritual beings, the more of you break your patterns of scarcity, then we break the patterns of scarcity here on this earth, and we're totally ready to explode and live an abundant, awesome life. Now, if you guys don't know who I am or don't know who Emily is, well, let me introduce you to Emily. Emily is my friend, my partner, my pal. She is the founder of the Akashic Academy. She is the director, and she is certifying light workers all over the globe to read the Akashic Records. And not only does she equip you on how to read the Akashic Records, she's also teaching light workers how to create their own modalities and courses so you could create a life of abundance as well. She's doing a lot for the rise of light workers that's happening across the planet. She's definitely one of the leaders in the game. And I'm so honored to spend every Friday with you and to, be building the Akashic Academy with you and playing with you.
Thank you, my friend. We are having just a ton of fun here. And I think that is truly the energy of expansion. We are feeding that life force energy of fun. And it's so fun to have somebody else who of spiritual consciousness to do this with. Not to say that we have it all figured out, but we can really look at ourselves, our patterns, and say, all right, what is it that we need to shift here? You've shifted me hugely in my abundance, and specifically in terms of money. Coach Nick has shifted my abundance, but I've really been able to tie together the understanding of these patterns. All right, if you're not playing in your real life, you think you're going to have a playful financial life? Absolutely not. If you are not creating and expanding and loving your life from moment to moment, well, I'm glad you're here, because we're going to help you out. That's what we do. That's what we do, because we see inside of you that potential. Nick sees that in you. And I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, I'll speak for myself, I know that I do this for people in the Akashic Records when they're learning to tune into their intuition and advance their skills. I see their highest potentials and what they can do, regardless of if they see it yet or not. Coach Nick holds that same space for us to create businesses, to create like a real life. Like we're going to talk about some of the more theoretical patterns behind this idea of abundance today, but get down to dollars and cents too. You got to have a real life that supports your curiosity, that supports your passion, that makes it easy to love your life and be fun. This is a choice that you make. And once you make this choice, the physical nature of your life begins to line up. And then you come hang out and you play and you do crazy shit. Like Coach Nick has been all Tom Cruise this week. You've been jumping on some couches.
I was howling at the moon at our new moon ceremony. No, our full moon ceremony. I have been jumping on couches.
Yes.
And during our moon ceremony, I was howling at the moon. That was the first time I ever did that on camera.
But it's really, really fun to be in this partnership with you, my friend. It's really great to be in a space where you trust that those leaders who are here to support you have your best interest in mind, as well as holding space for your highest unfolding. And I love my job, and you're a big reason that I love my job. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you guys so much. And thank you guys. Thanks, Sifu. I know he said he's hosting a watch party for this. So really, really appreciate that. And if you guys want to keep doing that, keep the comments coming. We really appreciate all the comments and stuff as the show goes on. Let's do a little puppetization. So every week, we puppetize you by leaving your comments, by leaving your questions, whatever it is. Sometimes it's something profound you said. Sometimes it's the simplest of simplest comments. But the way to get puppetized is you got to leave comments in the comment section. And myself and Emily, we pick our favorite comments and we do that. Oh, you forgot your drum again.
I did.
You got to bring the drum.
I got it.
Awesome. All right. Do you want to give me a drum roll?
Okay, I'll drum roll you.
All right, cool.
Oh, this hurts my ribs.
Oh, you'll be all right.
I got to put it lower.
All right. We'll do a small drum roll. All right.
There.
Bam. All right. We've got Amy Archer in the house. Oh, no, not Amy. AIM. AIM. AIM Archer in the house. And you know what? AIM Archer, just last week, she tuned in. Totally. That was nice. Yeah. Go do that again. Yeah. Do it again. Let's see your archery skills.
I do it with the right hand because I played the air guitar last week and I didn't do it with the right hand.
I did do it right. Yeah.
I held my guitar.
There you go. Okay. There you go. The archery skills coming out. All right, guys. So AIM Archer, she's, you know what? I just wanted to draw her because she's brand new to our community. Her comment was, "I'm new here." And I saw that in the comments and I was like, well, if you're new here, I want to say what's up. I want to say thanks so much for being with us and connecting with us. And we appreciate you tuning in. All right. You want to give yourself a drum roll?
Give myself a little drum roll. And I puppetized Wanda Pandachuk, who is not new here. Wanda has been hanging out for quite a while. She's not only my student in learning to read the Akashic Records, but she's also creating a course. And this mastermind started this past week. I work really closely one-on-one with all of the students who sign up to work with me. And Wanda and I had such a fun session. We had a huge breakthrough in terms of just getting really specific about the course that she's creating. And I'm so excited about this course. I'm not going to give any of the good stuff away. But what the light workers in this community are doing to take their expertise and their experience and to create support systems, classes, and opportunities to help others. I'm so proud of us. We are rocking. And Wanda Yvette, actually, is one of those people who is rocking it with me. So Wanda, I love you. And Wanda's comment was, in terms of dealing with her kids, she is now adding in what do you think about that, honey? At the end of every conversation, to open up that space to really allow her kids to have input. And that's, as a mom, it's simple, but beautiful. And I love me some Wanda.
I love me some Wanda. Fantastic. I love it. All right. Great stuff. Okay. Let's do some news. We got some news. You want to talk to us about some news?
I do want to talk to you about some news. You guys know that we have finished up Love, Sex, and Relationship Month in the Academy, although never really finished. This was just a starting point to really begin to dive in and understand life force energy, sexual energy, your creative energy. We are taking that now and moving into Money March. So this conversation today is just going to get you guys started. It's going to help set an energetic environment for you to really address the underlying issues that are happening. I want to invite you guys to join us in membership in the Academy and continue this study. Do you like being stressed about your money? Or do you want to create a new story? This is an energetic and multidimensional approach. You can't just address one thing about your money. So if you are looking for that multidimensional approach and a community to grow and expand in, which, by the way, that's a huge part of what's going on, is every time Coach Nick has an aha moment, every time I have an aha moment, every time our community has an aha moment, that synergy of growth is imprinted into this space, and it creates more room for growth. So if you're ready to get serious, come join us. I'll put the link up in just a second. It's $44, 44 cents a month to join us in membership. All of March is going to be about money. And speaking of making more money and getting really smart with your knowledge, with your services, with how you show up, Coach Nick is laying it down tomorrow in a workshop. I am so excited. Coach Nick, please tell us about your workshop that you have going on tomorrow, because you have just like a couple spaces left, don't you?
4. I just checked. I've been checking right now to see, because someone just registered. We have 4 spots left on this workshop. So this workshop, if you're a light worker, if you're a healer, a life coach, you're mentoring people, or you're running your online business, what I'm going to be showing you is how to turn your free calls. And first of all, if you're not offering free calls, I highly recommend, I say, what's the best way to sell a piece of pizza? Give them a sample, let people actually sample and get results. And I'm going to show you how to turn your free calls and your free meetings with people into paid clients. I've been doing this for years. I'm tooting my own horn here, but I'm really good at it. I'm really good at the process. And I've taught a whole bunch of other healers and coaches how to do the same thing. So what I've done is I put everything, the formulas, the mindset, the energetic strategies, everything about running a great free call and turning them into paid calls, turning them, enrolling people into your programs, I'm going to be sharing with you tomorrow. There's only 4 spots left because we're only taking 20 registrants. So right now we have 16 registrants. So if you want to join us in that, best thing would be to, I'll leave the link in the comments below. And that way you could just scroll down, click on that link, register, $44.44 to come out to this workshop. It's going to be 3 hours. We go from 11 a.m. Eastern till 2 p.m. Eastern. And everybody also that registered is going to get the recorded and lifetime access to the training. So you'll be able to review it and go over it over and over again. And so, yeah, Nancy Louise says, yeah, baby, I'm so excited to have the Saturday off and get to do this workshop. See you there. Thank you so much, Nancy. Nancy's one of our 16 so far registered. I'll leave that in the comments below. Emily, while I'm doing that, why don't you get this conversation started about breaking patterns of scarcity? How do we do it? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, I just want to know how many people out there, how many of you have patterns of scarcity that you recognize that you want to break? Like, who's just willing to get honest about it right now? Call yourself out. Raise your hand. Raise your emoji hand out there. I think that's the first step to really addressing anything in our life.
Emoji hand.
That's not really a made-up word, but I could put that in the glossary.
I think so. It could be made-up sentences.
It could be. Made-up catchphrases. Isms.
Emily isms. Akashic isms.
I love it. I think what we have to do first is we have to be willing to stop judging ourselves and take an honest look at the patterns that we have going on. Because a lot of people want it to be somebody else's fault that you don't have enough abundance. Whether it's your job, that you just can't get ahead in your job, or you just, for whatever reason, like that's the thing that makes me crazy. We just don't take enough responsibility for how we're showing up. There's a weakness that we limp in with when it comes to our abundance in all areas. And so for me, that's the first thing is like, are you willing to really look honestly at yourself and see where you're not as expansive as you need to be? And this is nothing that is, it's not that you're not working hard enough, and it's not that you're not smart enough and you didn't go to school enough. This is all the story that we get caught up in our mind. The universe, it is abundant everywhere. Everywhere around us. It's just learning how to tune into it. So first of all, being able to own what you've created, how you have participated in lack, okay, to really, really shift it. And then it's about getting down to those microcosmic elements. You mentioned a couple really good ones. Play is a huge one. Mm-hmm. The reason that most people want more money is so they can play. Yep. Start playing now. Start playing now and see how your life begins to shift and change. A lack mentality has showed up for me in a lot of ways in fear. Like I'll be able to, my specific financial history has been, I can make a shitload of money and then I don't make any for a long time. Then I make a shitload of money. I'm like an accordion. Ooh. And you know what's funny? I actually just had a flashbulb moment. I remembered back to being a teenager and playing basketball. And I wanted a pair of new basketball shoes and I wanted to buy them myself. And so I needed to come up with $50 so I could buy myself my Nike basketball shoes. And I remember somehow I manifested enough babysitting jobs that weekend. By the end of the weekend, I had my $50 to go buy my shoes. Nice. And I recognized, I had the power to do that in that moment with some focused energy, but I haven't been really good at like sustaining it. So I really like to check in with myself often. Like they say, check in with your bank account every day. I'll actually do that. But I want to check in with myself every day and say, okay, where emotionally am I feeling low? I want to address that ahead of time. Because that's the lack that's going to show up manifesting in all of the decisions that I make in my life for the rest of the day. We're going to string together a bunch of days. It's going to create a life. And it's going to manifest in my physical reality. So I would say, instead of checking in with your bank account every morning, check in with your emotional self. Where are you lacking? Where can you love yourself? Where can you adjust? Where can you create some space for play? And address your life like this. What do you have to say, Coach Nick?
Well, I really like the idea of talking about scarcity and playfulness. Mm-hmm. I think for myself, the more that I'm evolving and growing and becoming more playful in my own life, in my own experience, the more abundance I'm experiencing. And I love how you said, just start playing now. It's that whole idea of like, when the time is right, when the kids grow up and go to college, when, my partner gets his stuff together or her stuff together, when, when the stars align, right? When the moon, when the moon is, I'll only play in the right portions of the moon cycles. It's like, well, whoa. Always remember that you are a sovereign spirit soul. That is the beauty of the human form, is to become realized as spirit soul, to become sovereign, to become free. And once you start to tap into, unravel these levels of freedom that's actually available to you, for myself anyways, I see how I hold on to certain constructs because of scarcity. How I hold on. Now, what are these constructs? One way is how you make money. You may be holding on to a job that you don't like because you have a certain construct that you have to trade your time for money, rather than tapping into the universal playfulness or energy and going with that, and realize when you go with that, there's going to be so much abundance. I find that scarcity comes from fear, definitely. And fear has many different faces. Yeah. Fear sometimes shows up as logic. This is the logical thing to do. I can't join the Akashic Academy at $44.44 because, what if I don't, what if next month something happens? And that may seem logical, but in actuality, at an energetic level, what you're doing is you're projecting out that next month you're going to be scarce. You see, to live abundantly means you have to live in a very trusting manner. You have to trust this universe. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you'll find a way. I love the quote that says, a bird does not sit comfortably on a branch because it has faith in the branch, but it knows it has wings to fly. You see, when you know that you can create your scenarios and you can create abundance when you need it, then there's no reason to be scarce, because you'll just simply go and create it as you need it. So for myself, how we break these patterns of scarcity is we first got to be super honest with ourselves. You know, we got to get down and honest and go, where am I holding back? Where am I holding back in my playfulness? Where am I holding back in my creativity? Where am I holding back in investing in myself? Where am I holding back in the fun or the exploration? Wherever you're holding back and your spirit is yearning to go and to expand, that's you're bringing a scarcity into your energy. You're basically saying there is a limit to what it is that I can do. Now, you have to know yourself too, because the way one person is going to play or expand is not going to be the same as someone else. So in this way, just because you see someone else doing something and you think, oh, well, if you don't know yourself, you're going to just be dragged by every shiny light that comes your way. You're going to look for the outside world to validate you. And that's also a type of scarcity. The day that you no longer need the outside world to validate you, you will be free to explore, play, and create as you choose. And you will find that abundance will begin to flow. And this abundance will come in many forms. It'll come in many different types of relationships. It'll come in money. It'll come in opportunities. It'll come in energy. The first place that you'll notice where you're scarce is if you're oversleeping, watching too much TV, relying on caffeine or alcohol or drugs to get you into states of openness.
Well, I sip my coffee.
That's right. So when you don't need those things and you are just like alive, you're actually then going to just experience an abundance of energy. And once you have an abundance of energy, you can then channel that energy into different playtimes, different pastimes, different creation projects. And if you really know yourself, you won't chase everything. Like me, I just do a couple things throughout my day. I've got a couple things I like to do, and I just focus on that. And and exploring those at the deepest possible levels that are available. And I find why I'm sharing that about myself is because as I've done that, I've broken patterns of scarcity and now experiencing tremendous amounts of abundance in many ways.
I have a question for you. Also, I was raising my hand. That's a personal question. Can I ask you on the air?
Go ahead. Of course.
So you've had like an explosion of playful energy lately, and it's awesome. Do you know, or have you thought about yet what was holding you back before, and why didn't you let that rip before? And what do you know, like what fear it was that you melted, that you released? Can you give us like some more insight on how you tick, my friend? Because you've like it's so noticeable and fun hanging out with you. Not that you were boring before.
I was gonna say
because I liked you before.
Yeah. There's
super fun.
Yeah, the difference is losing, a little bit what we were talking about before we got on air. We were having an interesting conversation. Losing what I'm going to call the rules or the constructs of the game. The game meaning life, right? So what I call the game, even how I refer to life is I refer to it like a game, right? So therefore, see, even in my language, right? So before what I had and still do, and in no means am 100% free of this, but certain constructs, certain rules that I placed upon myself or that I accepted that society placed upon me. This is what success looks like was one of them. I always thought success looked like in my, just a few years ago, I thought success looked like having to, driving a certain car, you know. It's so funny that I thought that I related success to what car you drove, because I actually don't even like to drive that much. I prefer to walk.
You walk most places.
Right, I walk most places, but you see that I'm giving you like a really practical example how I was buying into the construct that success looked like. So I used to like force myself to look at cars and be like, oh, am I going to buy this Beamer? Am I going to buy this Mercedes? I don't even care. Personally, I prefer to walk. I'm happy to have a bus pass and take the bus and then walk places, because I find their way for me to vitalize myself and to contemplate and to do my mantras. So so you see, because I lost the construct of needing a certain car to determine I'm successful, when I let that go and realize I just like to walk, and I prefer to walk because I get great exercise and I get outdoors and I feel nature against my skin. Then I started to be more playful in that area. And now I've done walks, like 6-hour walks or 5-hour walks, and I walk everywhere. And guess what? How is that? So when you break one construct, you start to break down other constructs, because what happens is, now that I began to walk everywhere, guess what I have more of? Energy. I have more energy. And then because I have more energy, I'm able to start to see other constructs that I'm like, why am I buying into that? Why have I bought into that? Oh, why do I buy into, all of these things? And most of them were very subconscious. So the reality is that the deeper we go in our meditations and our sadhana and our practice, the more aware we become of our construct. And then what we need is to give ourselves permission to break them. And that might be uncomfortable for you at first. You got to be willing to make mistakes. You got to be willing to make mistakes, and you got to be willing to, you just got to be willing to do things that are not in your norm, to just within a non-judgmental way. That's the key, to do it in such a way where then you're just observing the energy in it. And as long as you're just observing the energy in it without bringing a story, you'll then go, yeah, I like this, I'll play in this, or no, I don't like this, so I'm not going to play in it. And you don't have all these rules strapped against you. And the reality is that most of us have so many rules at an unconscious level that's why we feel so scarce, because the spirit is just alive and breathing and living and flowing and acting. But rules diminishes that. I hope that answers the question.
I liked it.
Cool.
I liked it. Did you guys like it? I really like that idea about examining the rules, though, because it's so interesting. It's like, it's such a fine line, right? There are the rules, and this is when I'm going through the process of training Joyce Ann is a rule breaker. When I'm going through the process of training my Akashic Records students, this idea of, one, understanding the rules as they have been given through the lineage, okay, and then breaking them, and then moving, and then playing, so that you can really get to know the energy from your own experience. It's good to know life from mentors, and good to know life from being able to observe and take a look, and then it's good to be able to dive in and play and be and break the rules a little bit and see what happens when you're playing with these energies within a safe space. We talk. This conversation has been a lot about money too. And early on in my own journey, I read a lot of books about, you are a badass at making money. I had all kinds of money books, creating all kinds of energetic money creation kind of books. And I totally don't even know what I was going to say about them. Hang on, let me see if I can remember.
You're straight up.
Doesn't something about the rules? I don't know. Something about the rules. It'll come back to me.
Well, I'll just share this. When we directly talk about money and wanting to have more money, you have to realize that society has put certain rules around money, not for your benefit, but for the benefit of a few. And the more of us that begin to break those rules, and when I say rules, I don't mean do anything illegal. And I do agree with Emily, in a safe place, meaning you have to trust where you're playing. So like, you may not just go from 0 to hero and all of a sudden be investing in everything. Like, I don't even recommend that. I do personally, I recommend like process, like play, see, push, see where it goes. Like be okay to dance. But specifically when it comes to money, you really got to dive into your own money blueprints and see what rules or belief systems are running your money life.
Yeah.
And then start to break some of them. And even though it may be uncomfortable for you, I promise you, if you start to break some of those money rules, you're going to expand the space in which you can hold money. And when you expand your energy, you're going to see money-making opportunities start coming towards you in avalanches of abundance.
I was going to talk about irresponsible rule breaking. The mom in me was going to come out because I did. I read a lot of books, and they talk about if you have like this bad construct around money, buy yourself something nice so that you can enjoy the process of your money. And this, guys, bullshit, man. If you can't pay your bills, please do not go out and spend your money on new shirts. Okay. This is not irresponsible. And plus, dude, I learned a lot from Rhonda too. When Vivian came and was on the spirit sessions, we don't need to be buying all these damn clothes anyway. One of the huge things that is causing a big pile up in our landfills is overdose of clothes. But we'll talk about that some other time. That is not a responsible way to break your patterns. Okay? Do something that's freaking free in a moment that is fun. Jump on your couch, howl at the moon. Do something that breaks open your energy patterns in a way that is not jeopardizing your livelihood. Yes, I think that it is bullshit that we are paying bills to keep the lights on because energy is free. But that doesn't, I promise you, if you start bucking the system and stop paying your bills, you're going to have a way more karma to untangle. So don't be irresponsible about this. Light workers, I know that we're running over time, and so I will be fast. But, a lot of light workers, they want to take the easy way out. They want to be done with this money situation. We're looking for the day when everything's wiped out. All the digital systems, they just go haywire, and nobody can see how much debt you have anymore because it all got flashed out of the system. We're waiting for this big reset, and then we're going to trade our services, and we're going to do this bartering thing. It's BS. We have shown up and participated in lack and creating lack by how you've played. Maybe you didn't consciously play into it. Maybe you're more conscious now, so you're able to see it. But just because you weren't conscious of it doesn't mean that you didn't do it. Doesn't mean that you didn't play into this system of lack. We have to examine our patterns and untangle ourselves before we can truly create anything different.
Yeah, I love it. Fantastic. And I just wanted to answer Carla's question, just to give you, she says, how do you identify your money rules?
Great question.
Okay, that's a great question. And that's why I just wanted to just quickly, we are here at the end of our time, but I just wanted to identify this quickly. All right, here's how you identify your money rules. Look at your spending habits or patterns, right? What kind of things do you spend on? This is the first place. There's many things, but this is what I recommend. I did this. One of the ways that I changed my financial life is that I sat down and I looked at my entire finances for I started to track every penny that came in and that went out to the cent, right? Not like we didn't round, it was to the cent. Why? Because it allows you to be very precise. And the more precise you are, the more focus and reality you're bringing. You're not allowing your mind to tell you you're doing better than you are or worse than you are. You're learning to deal with reality as it is. So what I did is I started writing everything down to the cent, everything down. And then I would look at everything that I was spending. And what I realized is that I was spending lots on my own comfort and not my own growth.
Yeah. Ooh,
and I realized that my pattern, my money rules were that money was to be spent on things that make me feel comfortable, right? So rather than things that make me grow. And when I noticed that, I started to invest in things that made me grow. I started to invest in more books, more courses. I started to invest my time into learning more. And as I began to do that, my money rules began to shift. And guess what? As my money rules shift, so did my actual financial situation, right? So I want you to take a look at that and track everything that you're spending, every penny. I promise you, you'll start to even go, do we really need to buy that?
You will.
Do we really need to buy that? Because when you have to track it, you're going to have to consciously make a choice about it. And this will bring tremendous amounts of awareness to what you're doing.
This is a physical pattern too, that we can all implore, we can all do. How about that? That will allow you to see, allow me to see, allow all of us to see those underlying patterns of where you're feeling empty. Remember I said in the very beginning, you got to dive in and know yourself, and you got to know yourself honestly. And most of us don't, because most of us are freaking rounding off how we really feel. I actually do the finances in this relationship, which you probably think, why is she doing the finances? Why didn't he do them? Because I need to get better at them, by the way. And Nick will be like, hey, how much money's in our account? And he'll be like, you give me an exact number. I'll be like, okay. I'll be like, you got about this, about that. And so I'm taking the opportunity to learn and grow and get good. And there have been a couple times when I've been like, oh, my brain's getting really sharp and precise.
Yeah, you'll notice it was hard for me. Yeah, it was hard for me. That yes, of course, but that yes, absolutely. But we're doing it. But it was hard for me at the beginning to I used to do the same thing. Oh, it's about this, it's about that. I would avoid looking at my finances and just hope that I just we figure it out. But what I was really, that's an avoidance technique. And to break scarcity, you can't avoid it. Just like anything in life, if you want to go to the next level in anything, you have to go directly towards it. You got to look at it head on. You got to say, this is what's up, and then learn how to play in it. And when you learn how to play in it, you bring a light energy to it. And the lighter the energy you can bring to something, the more it loosens its grip and the construct begins to unfold. That's why I'm not a big fan of protests and all this kind of stuff, because what we're actually doing is bringing a more dense, it's like two rocks hitting against each other. But if one becomes like water, then that rock actually gets engulfed by the water, and the water ends up having more influence. It could take the rock away. It could do whatever it likes with it. So you want to become soft and playful with your serious situations. Yes. Nothing about life is that serious. I know that might be tough to that might be a tough pill to swallow when we look at the world. But what I'm asking you is try it out. Try bringing a more playful energy to a serious situation and see what happens. I bet you'll feel like a mystic or a magician about how you can kind of play with that energy. All right, I'll shut up.
Let's wrap it up. Everybody go have a great Friday. We're really excited to hang out tomorrow. Couple spots left. You guys, I'm just telling you again, dive in. It's going to be fun. I promise I'll behave, because Nick said he'd kick me out if I was not a good student. And then we'll see you guys here next week. Coach Nick, you got anything to say to wrap up?
Nope. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow if we join us for the training. See ya.